It goes with anything, but a lot of people won't do it. If you're not okay with these prices, stop paying these prices. And this narrative that what Nintendo does is going to affect all of a sudden affect the game market. Motherfucker, I did this. I bought all this shit, you know? That's money right there. We have our own choices. Stop putting blame on your fucking dumb shit, bro. Somebody, Nintendo is gonna make everybody hike up their gaming prices and fucking get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the hell out of here, man. That is so goddamn stupid. Oh my god.
Obsessed with sounds on the track.
I'm gonna need a cigarette. So the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct dropped yesterday, and it was pretty dope. As a physical Nintendo Switch collector and a Switch gamer for 3 years, I've loved the game library and use it pretty much primarily for indie titles. I joined a bit late, but it quickly became my favorite game console of the modern day era. So when Nintendo teased this next console, I was definitely interested. What's good? This is OWS the King. Welcome back to the channel. I do gameplay reviews and talk about all things gaming, like memories I've had of games growing up and basically all things backlog gaming. If this is something that you're interested in, hit the like button, sub, and join the OWS family. So today I'm going to just basically talk about, some things that I'm sure majority of people heard, but I'll just bring up a lot of things that I liked about the Direct and then, kind of give my final thoughts about it at the end. So I wrote a few notes down. I'm basically becoming a your typical bitch YouTuber, but yeah, we'll talk about a few things. Sorry for the glare. So yeah, we'll talk about a few things, some of the pros and cons that I noticed, and I probably won't talk about every little thing, but just the things that basically matters to me. First thing right off the rip, they talked about the new Mario Kart title. Definitely a upgrade of Mario Kart 8, but not to the point where it was just like a gloss of of new paint. I did dig the new mechanics that they was coming with, be able to like ride the rails, the jumping and the platforming of the game. They had the movie version of Donkey Kong in this game, which kind of ties into something I'll bring up later. The tires, I seen that I think you use as a super. It's just a super that makes you change your tires, your different costumes. It felt like a kind of a Forza Horizon type of a vibe to it. It being able to drive around, look for different races, kind of explore different areas, and which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't see a lot of different worlds that you can get into, but that might be shown later. But yeah, the Forza Horizon vibe to it and stuff was pretty dope, and definitely got me interested in checking that one out day one. So yeah, and that would be a first day game title, and as we will talk about it later, that it will be a digital title in one of the console bundles that you can get. So new Mario Kart title, I figured this console will definitely have a it has to have one of the big selling points, and that's usually Mario Kart and or a Mario solo game. So yeah, the price though, we'll talk about that here in a bit. So I was really interested in the actual function of the Nintendo Switch 2. Like, will it be any powerful than the normal Switch? And they kind of bulked this thing up. New features include the Nintendo Switch 2, another product that listens to my conversations. I saw that you can, link other players and talk and basically watch their streams, which was pretty dope. I think the whole watching your friends play other games, or being able to like help you out on certain games just by looking at your screen without having to be at home with you is pretty cool. But from what I can tell is that it's subscription based, but they're putting a free mode for all people that have the console to at least try it out for about a month or so, or a couple months. Don't quote me on that. The screen is 7.9, so it's quite a little bit bigger than the OG Nintendo Switch. Definitely has to be bigger than the OLED. So this is the OLED, and this is great because I do not play my Nintendo Switch usually. About 90% of the time I use it in dock mode. So for it having a bigger screen is perfect for me because I'm blind as fuck and I'm old as fuck. So that definitely helps for me if I want to take it in handheld mode and play it. And just being able to see the screen a lot better, given, now that the power that's backed onto this is actually pretty good. So I would say that they're probably about the same size as, maybe a little bit bigger as the Portal, maybe. It should be a little bit bigger than this. If it's any bigger than the actual Portal, that'd be dope too. I rarely use this fucking thing. So the screen is definitely a nice touch. It also says that they will have games in 1080p, 120 frames per second. I'm not a frame guy per se. I'm not like one of those people that has to fucking, that won't touch a certain game because of the frame rate and shit. The fact that certain games, like a game that I played a couple years back, the Kirby Forgotten Land, and me knowing that it was a great title, great game. I love that fucking game. That was one of the best games I played that year when it came out. But noticing that it was a little bit choppy, just a little bit choppy, and so that's basically, if you're playing it on your Switch 2, that's going to clean up a lot of those problems that you had. My son was playing the Princess Peach game, and I also noticed the same thing with that game was kind of choppy, but it still looked good. But you, in the back of your mind, you're always thinking that if it had, a better frame rate and cleaned up a lot of that stuff, how smooth that game would probably come out, and how would it be? So the Joy-Cons, magnetic. Hopefully you don't have to deal with the drifting. That was a big thing of which I didn't have that issue, but when we bought our son his first Switch before I bought him his OLED, he had a lot of issues with Joy-Cons just dying like right away or drifting, and just being real fucked up. Made them bigger, made the thumbs bigger, made the buttons bigger. I, not like your average YouTuber, I got long fingers, big hands. Those Joy-Cons, these Joy-Cons and shit do not fucking work for me. I had to I forgot the brand of that I got these from, but these are dope. Not everybody got flimsy Scott DeWall's hands and fucking whatever that, long hair fucker is. Sometimes you need something a little bit bigger than these little shits that they give you. So just big enough that you can overall play with the fucking remotes. So yeah, but the magnetic mechanic was dope. Looks like it will take some latch in the back to get those out, so you don't have to worry about them like flying out anywhere after you click them in. So that's really cool. I definitely enjoyed that. Nintendo's gonna have their gimmicks. I have to expect it to do actually more than what it says it's going to do, and that's the Joy-Cons themselves are used as mouse, which will integrate into other games and things. This is definitely nothing that I am really interested in. I don't need another mouse for it to do anything. I hope and pray that it's not forced onto every little game, and if it does have that mechanic that it's more of an option. Don't do the Wii thing again, where a lot of good games on the Wii was forced to be played with the Wii controller, and just the motion shit. I wasn't a big fan of that stuff for a lot of games that was pretty cool and pretty interesting to play, but it's just when they shoehorn that shit in for majority of those games and stuff, it really fucking bring that down for the more diehard gamer. So I really hope that the mouse thing isn't pushed on to every little thing. I'm already seeing that they had like 2 games that they that works for. One is for the Mario Party, and the other one was basically like this wheelchair type of basketball game, which was actually pretty dope, and definitely is gonna be one of the games that I check out. But I just don't see myself really putting a lot of time into things like that. So if the game like that is playable, that you can use like your Pro Pad and things, then that's cool with me. I don't mind that at all. So they said that you will have a 256 gig for internal space, which is good since I've added that amount to my OG Switch, to the OLED here. That's what I'm rocking with here, and that works fine. So having that and then adding maybe a 256 gig SD card is pretty cool. Backwards compatibility, but I'm not sure if that fully means like every title. They didn't really say. They just said select titles. So, I mean, that's basically telling me that not everything will be backwards compatibility. They showed some weird tutorial type of, tour game that I think you had to buy. That doesn't work for me, fam. I definitely don't see myself being interested in doing that. The new Nintendo Switch cartridges are red. That's dope. But these need to be black. Don't fuck it up, Nintendo. So the Nintendo Switch cases are red and the cartridges are black. Basically, the Nintendo Switch 2 cases should be black and the cartridges itself should be red. And I imagine that's why they did the the red cartridges now, so it won't confuse you, because the card itself, the cartridge itself looks the same. It'll just be a different color. So, you know, I don't think a lot of people think like I do and shit when it comes to stuff like that, but I would think that'd be pretty cool. So your Nintendo Switch SD card that you have in your OG Nintendo Switch can't work for the Nintendo Switch 2. So be clear of that. I hear the UPS truck. I think I got something. The Pro controller that they showed is fresh. If you know, I'm a Pro controller whore, man. Like, I'll do some B-roll on some of the controllers that I have and shit. I fucking love collecting for modern day controllers, controllers from, you know, back in other eras. And I'm just a fan of, you know, certain controllers that come out. And I've been a big fan of the Nintendo Switch controller itself. The battery life on those things is fucking unmatched compared to like a Xbox and a PlayStation. So hopefully that this is just about the same too. So then they said that the release date, and the release date is 2 months from now. It's on June 5th. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be a little bit further into the summertime, maybe almost before fall. It's that's pretty cool. And, you know, time goes by so fucking fast and shit like that. You know, that's going to be a blur. Those 2 months going to go like that. So older Switch games are getting the buff. I kind of talked about that a little bit. You know, they showed Tears of the Kingdom, and they showed Breath of the Wild, and he's showing that new high frame rate is how it's going to affect, you know, certain games like that. So my son has Tears of the Kingdom. Before I actually buy a copy of my own, I'll probably just try his out, or we can just do the game share thing. Oh, I talked about the Kirby Forgotten Land thing, game. I just loved that when it came out. I bought it for my son when it dropped, and he completed it. He let me try it out, and it was just one of the dopest games I played that year. It's getting an upgrade. It's also getting like bonus content, which I think is cool. They talked about Metro Prime 4 again, which is looking pretty good. My son pissed his pants of the new Pokemon game that's coming out. My son is with the Pokemon Shield, Arceus, all that good shit. He plays those to death, so he's definitely excited for this new Pokemon game that's coming out. So they're doing the PS4 to PS5 thing, where you have to pay for a upgraded version. That's kind of shite, okay? In my opinion, I'm gonna be real with you, but PlayStation do the same thing, and I have dabbled in that, like Horizon a remaster. I paid the $10. It's not bad to me. It's not a big deal. I explain this and stuff. The PlayStation, they do it, and they say, okay, you don't want to pay full price for the newer version, but you can get the upgrade for $10. That's fine. I that don't bother me at all. Nintendo, on the other hand, they charge motherfuckers. You know, they tax the shit out of y'all. So I'm thinking that these upgrades is going to be a little bit more than $10. It'd be cool if it is, but when it gets up to like, okay, you're paying $30 extra to play Kirby again, to play, you know, Breath of the Wild and shit. Is it really worth all that for the upgrade? You kind of want to, but when it gets higher than $10, I think I really can't get down with it. I can't get jiggy with that shit.
Huh? This is whack. I can't get jiggy with this shit.
It almost comes off as schemy. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of fucking, it kind of feels fucked up when, they're like, oh, we're going to get you for this extra and shit. But I get it. you know, Nintendo especially, because that was been like the biggest drawback from, you know, the Nintendo Switch is that, you know, the frame rate. You know, if you can play these games, and a lot of people say, oh, this game is really good, but the frame rate is blah. If a lot of people are going to want to experience these games again, they're going to pay. They're going to have to pay to, you know, get that upgrade. So, and then you're probably going to get a lot of flack. Nintendo's probably going to get a lot of flack if it's not around $10 and stuff. People are going to bitch about it if it's $10. People are going to bitch if it's $5. If it's around $10, you're not going to hear a fucking complaint out of me. I'll definitely get that upgrade for that certain title. So, talked about the wheelchair basketball game. It's called, I don't know, run and gun, bump and run and shoot and push. I don't fucking know. Elden Ring. I know that the last Souls games dropped on the Switch. We never saw Elden Ring drop on the Switch, so that was pretty cool to see. The title of it, Elden Ring Tarnish, is kind of like, I don't know, like almost like some shade. Like it's not going to be as good as the PC. It's not going to be as good as the Xbox Series X and the PS5 so far as looks, but you'll be able to, you know, play this damn thing. So Elden Ring showed up. I'm not a fan of Souls-likes. I've said that in multiple videos. But respect to Nintendo for getting that port of the game. That's really dope. I can respect it. I know fans love that game. I have no general problem with it. It's just not my cup of tea when it comes to, you know, certain genres. I'm definitely not a fan of Souls-likes, which is highly documented. The fact that people call Elden Ring perfection is beyond me. You know, I don't get the whole fucking let me just, you know, dodge roll and shit for fucking, you know, hours on end and brag that I wasted 100 hours of my fucking life dying, rinse and repeat. You know, so ain't nobody got time for all that bullshit. But so they showed off Street Fighter 6 for the Switch, and it looks like it's going to be like a definitive edition, or at least the first, because, you know, Street Fighter games nowadays do this. They'll have like the Super Street Fighter 6, then they'll have the Ultra Super Street Fighter 6, and then they have the Super Ultra. You get what the fuck I'm saying. Street Fighter 6 amiibos, those look dope. Saw this game. They showed this game, and I swear to God, I was about to geek the fuck out because I thought it was one of my favorite games of all time, and it's Vanquish. And it had such a Vanquish Astro Chain type of vibe to it, and it was called like Damon Machia or things like that. I swear to God, the gameplay of it was pretty cool and stuff, and it looked good. So Madden is coming to the Switch too. That's cool. I don't think any Madden game has been on the Switch. Don't quote me on that. Hogwarts game is coming out for the Switch too. That's been highly celebrated. That game is supposedly, I've never tried it. I've heard that it's a great game, so that's probably gonna piss off the woke watchers. But you know, hey, it's gonna be on the Switch too. Looks like they're making another 007 game. They right now they just said 007 title in progress or anything. If they It'd be crazy if they, you know, did like a GoldenEye 2. That would be cool. Hopefully they actually go that route and just call it GoldenEye 2. Just bring back that good, you know, have the mechanics of, have it almost like, you know, a COD game, and with the vibe of, you know, 007. That would be cool. That would be something. And I'm not a big online gamer and stuff, That would be cool, and especially if you can somehow, make a couch co-op type of thing with that. That would be cool. No doubt. A new Hyrule Warriors game, definitely big on the Warriors games. I'm a big fan of them. I have majority of them throughout, different consoles. So that's definitely, one that I'm going to keep my eye on. So they told us that Cyberpunk 2077 was coming out on the Switch 2. They talked about Borderlands 4. Final Fantasy Remake will be dropping on the Nintendo Switch. I'm not surprised about that one. Some more news is that the devs from the Shredder's Revenge game is making a Marvel beat 'em up. And I saw this actually prior to this Direct. They had a Nintendo Direct a couple of days earlier, and yeah, I'm very invested in that. That looked like it was going to be the fucking titties. Star Wars Outlaws, never got a chance to play that yet. I know that, they had a big deal about the lady looking, ugly or some shit. I mean, I guarantee that, this chick on this game looked better than half of y'all mothers. Chill the fuck out. And the topper of all that was the From Software exclusive game Duskblood that's coming out. Man, what a solid get from Nintendo. This is going to, with it being exclusive, this is going to sell a lot of Nintendo Switches from people that probably wasn't invested in getting one in the first place. They're going to be like, oh, okay, now I got to get one. And this is what was good about consoles back in the day, the having these type of exclusive things where you had to go buy these consoles in order to play these certain games, which now it's just everything's getting passed on, left to right like a fucking whore. So it's really refreshing to see that this Duskblood's game is basically only a Nintendo exclusive. And I've seen people out there saying, oh, well, later on it's going to come to there. They said it. No, they didn't. Quit fucking lying, dude. Shut the fuck up with that shit. It's a Nintendo exclusive. I hope they stick with that. I hope they don't push that off to, other places. PlayStation shit the bag, man, for this one. I'm pretty sure that they wanted to do a Bloodborne type of game or a remake or a sequel, and they wouldn't let them for whatever fucking reason, unless we haven't heard any news prior to they might can Bloodborne 2 can pop off tomorrow or some shit and we would know. So that's pretty cool. That's a cool get for Nintendo, and I'm glad for it. And you see the already the clapback for it from, dipshit PC gamers and fucking whiny ass other console gamers that this game is not going to function well on the Nintendo Switch. And I really hope that this one knocks it out of the park just to shut those motherfuckers up. That'd be really nice. New Kirby's Air Riders game. That's cool. Air Ride was such a niche, title for the GameCube. And it's pretty cool that, they got the director of the Smash titles to direct this game. So you really, they're probably going to go all out with this thing. It's going to be pretty dope. I'm excited to see what this Air Rider's about. I'm actually cool with it. As soon as the trailer started, I thought it was going to be Smash. I really did. They got you on that one. That was pretty cool. I imagine this will be the more faster type of gameplay that you don't necessarily always get from Mario Kart. So I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen with this Kirby Air Riders. That looks dope. And the final thing was which I thought was going to be a sequel to Mario Odyssey. It was actually a Donkey Kong title, and it's basically Donkey Kong 64 done right. It looked crazy. It's looked like an action adventure type of platformer type of game, and it was running good. He was fucking raging the fuck out and hitting up types of shit and breaking shit and it was just stuff like splattering all over the place. It kind of looks like the devs that made the Odyssey game that had their foot into this, and props to them changing up the Donkey Kong character itself and kind of pushing it more into the Seth Rogen. I guess everybody calls it the Seth Rogen Donkey Kong. I don't know if it's, if it's tied into maybe like a movie in the future or anything like that, but that was cool. That was cool to see. It looked good. It said it would be coming out maybe a month or 2 months afterwards. Don't quote me on that. It might be a month, but it really looks good. I definitely am going to get that day one because shit, why not? So in the end, the pros of this whole reveal was pretty high for me. If you listen to certain YouTubers, they were trying to get subscribers, pumped up to the point that it was going to be just as, good as a PlayStation 5 or something. And that's definitely not what this was going to be. I knew it wasn't going to be that. The bigger screen is great. The new Joy-Cons is definitely a plus. I love the magnetic, how they click together, the bigger pads. I love the new gamepad. I love the fact that they're bringing the GameCube. They found like a GameCube emulator to play these some great titles. I hope they push out a lot of the great, because it's a lot of good games on the GameCube, and my kid can experience these games that I've been talking to him about and stuff for years. We've talked about the Double Dash, Mario Kart and shit like religiously, and I definitely would love to go back at that game again, without having to get the GameCube and hook it up and do all this whatnot stuff. That's one less console that needs to be hooked up. If they give you some of the top games, if they give you Resident Evil 4, I think Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube was probably the best way to play it if you're not playing the remake. So the Mario Kart title looked great. Mario Kart World, I should say. That was pretty dope. That's good. I'm definitely gonna, get that day one. Let me just get to the last pros. Just the specs itself for the Switch is definitely a step up from what we had. Everything plays well. Everything plays smooth. You won't hear me, bitch. I play a lot of indie games on the Switch that don't take all that type of power and things like that. And so my thoughts on the game, on the system and stuff is not like, other people that play these real big name titles that probably has a lot of, slowdown and a lot of, dips in the graphics and things like that. So having it to be 1080p, being able to play 4K on the dock, in dock mode, that's great. Majority of the time play in dock mode, so if it can work on my 4K TVs, that'd be awesome and look good. That's definitely a plus. So I have a few cons. They're real basic. They're not nothing that I'm raging all out for and shit like that, like a lot of these fucking YouTubers. See, I took a day to kind of cipher through a lot of what this platform was pushing out when they was talking about this this new console. And right off the bat, what I thought it was going to happen is that, you know, people were fucking complaining. They found little nitpicks to fucking complain and make it into this big fucking thing. First of all, and I really don't want to call out names of certain YouTubers and shit because I don't want to be that type of channel. It's a lot of well-known YouTubers that will act like that this new system, new console is a piece of shit, but will have it day one, whether they get it pre-ordered themselves, whether they pre-order it, or they give them a console for review, that and other. They're going to get one of these consoles. The narrative is now is bitching male nowadays is to, you know, whine about every fucking thing and shit. And because that's what get views. That's what get views, being a fucking whiny bitch. And it's very, for me, seeing it and shit, it's like, it's so obvious, you know? So for subscribers and shit, I would recommend you do your own research. Go by how you feel at first. Quit letting YouTubers dictate how you think about a certain thing. Yeah. The games look like they're going to be a bit pricey. That sucks. That definitely sucks. But so does everything else. Everything's fucking expensive nowadays. Everything's pricey. Games are pricey. I seen 3 people. One that just posted a video about a couple of days ago talking about all the games that they picked up within, you know, a week span or so. Let's just say that. All the shit that they got past the amount of, say, the price of the Mario Kart game that's supposedly $79. $79. That is a lot. People forget that they paid for that for Mario Kart 8. Because if you just got the bare bones default Mario Kart and just played that, okay, it might be like $40-something maybe. But people that actually play Mario Kart, people that collect the Mario Kart games, people that like to experience the definitive version of Mario Kart got the Mario Kart 8 and then all the extra shit that was coming out, what was it, or starting around like 2020, maybe even later than that. And these were the new levels, the new courses that they were coming out with, and you had to pay for that. I guarantee you that was way more than this right now. The $79. So the fact that they're making a complaint about that is wild to me, honestly, because you just paid for that for the Mario Kart 8. And I don't think people are like thinking of it that way and shit, because it's, I don't know, maybe because right off the bat you're doing that, but it's a lot of gamers have paid for a game that maybe costs like $50, and then it was DLC that came on to that, whether you bought DLC for it, you bought, you know, a certain attire or whatever the case may be, you paid extra for something. If you're a collector, you paid for multiple fucking games that cost way more than that game, that Nintendo Switch game, that Nintendo Switch 2 game, I should say. everybody's pissed off. 450 for the console itself, what it looks like. I have expected that's what it was going to be. If you actually think that it was going to be like 350 for a new Switch 2 with all the specs and the day one games that's coming out with it, all the upgrades that it can provide for your Nintendo Switch games, you need to fucking slap yourself because there's if you thought it was going to be that cheap and shit, it ain't no way, especially in this fucking economy. It ain't fucking happening, dude. 450 is fine. I think it's fine, in my opinion. I actually thought it was going to be a little bit more. So I don't know what the problem is there. It does suck. We will all love all games, all current modern games to be fucking $20 and shit. If it was $20, you would bitch about it. Let's be fucking real. Y'all just want to bitch. It's a lot of money. Don't fucking buy it. The console itself is not the issue. It's more so the games. And majority of people that's buying these games eventually will be, or buying a Switch, I should say, are the ones that's, they want these games. They want these games that's not going to come on like, a Steam Deck or anything on PC or Xbox or PlayStation. They're not going to get these games. It's mostly the exclusives. So, so I would say if everything is on disc, I would say this: if everything was on disc and future DLC, which now we're just throwing shit out there and stuff. We know that's not how it works, but future DLC is promised. Any updates is free. That ties into the $90. Then that's, man, $90 is a lot. $90-$80 for a game is a lot, but I guess I'm saying in the space of YouTubers that making a big shit about this, you're gonna buy this shit for content. You're gonna buy the shit for content. You're gonna talk about it. You're gonna, whether you run it down or whatever, you're gonna get that shit back because you get your views from bitching. And subscribers are sheep, and most of them don't think for themselves, and they're gonna most likely buy the fucking game anyway because everybody wants a fucking new Nintendo Switch. But yeah, they're gonna shit on it. They're gonna complain. They're gonna complain. They're gonna complain, and then they're just gonna buy it anyway. So what's the whole point? Like, what are we talking about at that point, right? Like let's be real, bro. If it goes with anything, but a lot of people won't do it. If you're not okay with these prices, stop paying these prices. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll get enough backlash on that price point and bring it down $10. And if it comes down $10 and you guys like, I'm good with that, then you need to slap yourself too. Because if it's not $90 physically and you're not okay with that, but you're okay with paying $80. If it's $80 and you're okay with paying just $70 for the game, then what the fuck are you bitching for? That's still a lot of fucking money. You didn't win anything if it goes down $10. I don't care. It's just not. Don't think you a win and shit, and you get on the social media talking about we did it. Y'all do that shit a lot. $10 ain't shit, bro. It's not. So that shit goes down somewhere and to the 50s maybe. I would consider that as a win. $50 for a new Mario game, but I don't think that's gonna happen. And this narrative that what Nintendo does is gonna all of a sudden affect the game market. Motherfucker, there's games out there now that's not on the Nintendo that's charging people $80 for that. What the 2K games are damn near over 100 after it's all said and done to get, it to function how you want, given the characters and, you know, this, that, and the third. What do you, no. Nintendo ain't start no fucking this whole calypso of, you know, change that everybody now is going to sell their games and shit for $90 fucking dollars. Nintendo didn't do that shit. If anything, fucking PlayStation did that shit. If we want to put blame on people and shit, like, you know, don't do that. Don't do that. That's such a dumb fucking take. It's crazy. They want to blame, you know, a Mario Kart for Nintendo is in their own space, bro. They in their own space. Nobody cares what the fuck Nintendo does. Nintendo don't give a fuck about what everybody else does. They gonna price the shit that they want to price, and they don't care. You gonna either buy it or you don't. So that's being honest. The pricing on the upgrades and stuff is one of my biggest cons, but I don't have any record of how much they're gonna charge. Like I said, most likely it's Nintendo. It's gonna be pricey. So in your mind, because most of us are adults, we can decide on, oh, I shouldn't put my money into that. I got this and that bill. I got that bill. I got, you know, this going on. I want to buy this. Nobody is putting a gun to nobody's head and saying buy a fucking thing. We all do this. I'm not going to even cancel myself out. We all do this. I did this. I bought all this shit, you know? That's money right there. We have our own choice and stop putting blame on your fucking dumb shit, bro. Somebody, Nintendo is gonna make everybody hike up their gaming prices and fucking get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the hell out of here, man. That is so goddamn stupid. Oh my God. Anyway, those are my cons. I'll keep on getting sidetracked because I fucking hate YouTubers so much. I'm the most anti-YouTuber ever. It's crazy. So not knowing exactly the upgrade price, them being very vague on what is backwards compatibility, what is backwards compatible, what all can I take from the Switch and transfer over to the Switch 2 that's in my physical collection. That's what I want to know. So, and I didn't go in their conversation podcasts or anything, so they might have answered some of these questions. So I'll most likely look into that here soon. So I could be dated on that information. Who knows? But am I going to buy this day one? Yes, I am. I am going to buy it day one, and I'll do more research on the games that I'm going to get day one. And it was quite a bit. One of my cons is that it could have had a little bit more. It could have had a little bit more that fill genres that I really like. I would have loved to get that Donkey Kong game day one, but that's going to come out within like a month after the Nintendo Switch 2 releases. So that's kind of a bummer. Mario Kart is definitely a game that I've always played from Mario Kart 8 all the way down. But I never been like one of those ones that's like, okay, I'm going to turn on my Switch and just play that, you know? So I really need that game to hook me into, you know, playing it on a regular basis. So if any of my collection that I have now, all of those games that can run on the Switch 2 and run at a smoother frame rate, hey, that's cool for me. I can hold out for a couple of months until more games that fit my interests more so I can hold out and play these games, because I got sealed games that's in the backlog that I have not touched. So me worried about what games that comes out on the Switch 2 right now is really not that important. but you would love to see a game that's purposely made for the Switch 2 and be something that I'm really into and be able to try that out. So that's cool. I wouldn't throw my Switch away if I was people. Don't throw your Switch away and get the Switch 2 because full backwards compatibility is not promised. But I'm excited. I have no malice. I'm not monetized or anything like that, so I don't have a big, fan base or whatever, or subscribers to, just push some ideology that, this is like the worst thing ever and shit. It is not. I've Nintendo itself had worser consoles than this right here. I think that this was a win for Nintendo Switch. And I think that as long as they keep bringing with the titles, they're doing a lot of coming together of different devs that's outside of the Nintendo box and bringing those into the fold. I think that's a win for them. They're going to knock it out of the park. They might have to tweak this pricing thing around, but I don't think they're gonna let up on those prices. So it's gonna come to, what do you morally feel like you need to pay? What are you gonna pay for these games? Are you gonna pay for it? Are you gonna deal with your purchase and just shut the fuck up about it? Or are you just gonna hold back and say, okay, I'll buy a Switch next year and hopefully, prices on games go down or something, because, they might learn their lesson and just say, hey, I don't, maybe we fucked up on the $90 price and shit. So I do not think that this is the worst thing in the world. They have $90 games that's out now that people are still paying for. It's a lot of YouTubers that's paying this type of prices for old games. It is what it is. So these YouTubers are going to get those consoles. They're going to get those games no matter what. So if you're a subscriber, you need to put that in your mind. Think about yourself first. If you can't front it, if you can't front the money, don't buy the damn thing. And they'll have like games that's sprinkled out like that I'm really get into. Mostly is, my son. My son is very excited, and I'm excited for him. He had his Nintendo Switch. We gave him his OG Nintendo Switch when he was about 5 years old, and then we gave him a OLED when he was about 9. So now this is coming to Nintendo Switch 2, and we was watching the direct together, and you could see the excitement on his face, and that's good enough for me. So if we buy this big, $450, $500 Nintendo Switch, and he's just playing Pokemon on it all the fucking time, then hey, more power to him. Then Nintendo got a win from us, because that's all that matters in the end of the day. So, but yep, this is OWS, the King. Thank you for, if you sat through this whole rant and shit. I'm definitely going to edit most of this shit out, but stay tuned for more. Jesus Christ. My hat been crooked this whole fucking time. Stay tuned for more. I got more videos coming. I have a Assassin's Creed Shadows video coming out real soon. Yeah. That'll be out here pretty soon. And I think that's going to coincide into me celebrating my 30th video I post. I haven't posted 30 videos. I already have a lot of videos set to 30, and we're going to do it like that. But I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say about that game, even if it's not even more so about the game. It's more the influence of that game personally that got me into wanting to go and Thanos and do YouTube myself, because it's a lot of fuck shit in the YouTube space. A lot of fucking YouTubers that I cannot fucking stand. And they all coincide with this fucking game. So, yeah, we'll talk about that though soon. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Appreciate you checking me out and watching me rant and things like that. If you have different ideals and opinions about the Nintendo Switch, then let me know. What was the things that you like? Because I didn't go on about every little thing about the Switch 2. What are the things that you liked about it? Are you going to buy it day one, or are you going to wait? Whatever it is. Do you think that Nintendo is going to be the reason why all the other games in the video game space is going to be over, $100 and shit like that? Do you think Nintendo is to blame? Let's talk about that, delusional take in the comment section, because I really I like a good laugh. I'm a chuckle guy and shit. If you watch any of my other videos, I love a good laugh. So we'll get to it. So this is OWS signing off. Appreciate it. Y'all be safe out there. Peace.